Hey there, internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another episode of AC Discovery, my weekly Saturday show where I sit down and talk about comics or anime that I'm enjoying. And this week I'm continuing my watch through of Death Note with a couple more episodes. The episodes Glare and Encounter. So in Glare we have L deciding to place surveillance equipment on the people that Ray Penbar, the deceased FBI agent, the people he was investigating, including the Yagami family, so Light's family and the director, superintendent, director's family, his father. And Light is a fucking crazy person, so he's got 3 little fail-safes on his door, and he discovers that 2 of them have been altered, pencil lead in the hinge, and the doorknob is slightly down, I guess. But the paper that is the more obvious thing was restored, but the other 2 are adjusted. So he says, oh, okay, somebody's been in my room. That's not good. So he kind of goes on a lockdown for a little bit, leaves the house, gets out in the open, so he can kind of talk it out with Ryuk. Ryuk introduces the idea that if he doesn't get his apples, he will go through withdrawal symptoms, including weird contortions and walking on his hands, apparently. So Light uses that against him to say, okay, well, I'll get you an apple, but you have to sweep my room for surveillance cameras and tell me where all the cameras are. While Light's out, he also buys a couple things that will help him kind of give him an alibi, including like a naughty magazine, so he just looks like he's, being a mischievous little teenager in his room. And also a very tiny little TV, apparently, that he hides in a bag of chips. And then so when he's supposed to be doing homework and stuff and cameras are on him, he's kind of subtly got an eye to what's going on the TV, and he's writing down people on the Death Note that he shouldn't be able to know about because he's ostensibly, for the cameras that are watching him, he's not watching TV or looking at the news or anything. So he kind of recognizes that will be his perfect alibi, his getaway, and then he just kind of throws the evidence, the bag of chips and the mini TV, I guess, out with the trash the next day. So something like Light having 3 fail-safes on his room is the show kind of going above and beyond, and not like in a great way. It just pulls me out of it, which is weird, talking about a show where there's a god of death and any name you write into a book, that person dies. But like, even the carefulest person, like a 17-year-old's not gonna go through the hassle of putting in a lead pencil thing every time he goes in and out of his room. The fact that he has just the paper alone is a suspicious enough thing that I'd be like, yeah, this guy's hiding something. It's meant to highlight how clever Light is, and it just leaves me kind of rolling my eyes at the situation. Also, this episode had a big emphasis on food. You had the detectives eating with L at the beginning. They had like ice cream, green ice cream, so green tea or mint ice cream or something like that. Then you have the potato chips, which are like very, like the bag of potato chips is given this crazy level of resonance and like very, it's some of the most anime style that I think of when I think of anime, like where he opens the bag of chips and it's super dramatic and super serious. And then of course the apple stuff is continued with Ryuk. So lots of food in this episode. Interesting. But yeah, there were just a couple of moments where I was like, okay, I don't buy that even Light is that paranoid and prepared for everything. The next episode, Encounter, I liked a lot better, actually. Having decided that he's not finding anything on the surveillance footage, L goes ahead and removes the security cameras, but he still suspects Light because Light behaved a little too perfectly while under watch. So L decides that he's going to get a closer look. And we see L show up at the same entrance exams that Light's been studying for, and apparently he does very well. The both of them share the top score and have to do some kind of like presentation at college orientation or something. I'm not quite familiar with the Japanese school system, but they're both up there presenting together because they've got this high score. And while they're sitting there in orientation, L, using the name alias of that matches like a pop idol's alias, nonchalantly kind of says, "Hey, I'm L," to gauge what kind of reaction there is. And from there on, the episode kind of goes into overdrive in terms of like what the two characters are thinking, and Light is kind of freaking out internally, but doing everything he can to stay calm and collected, and L's gauging what the reaction is going to be. So L kind of has a lot of fail-safes at play here. He's using a pseudonym of a pop idol, so even if that was his real name and Light tried to kill him, or Kira tried to kill him, there's a good chance that the pop idol's face will pop into his mind and he'll accidentally kill the pop idol instead. So he doesn't want to chance it, because if that pop idol suddenly dies, then L has probably all the evidence he needs that Light is Kira. And so we see that it's going to set up a much more kind of personal, sizing each other up competition, where Light is trying to figure out if L is really L and who he is and how to kill him, and L is trying to figure out if Light really is Kira. And it leaves me excited for what's to come, much more so than Light being super overly prepared. And it's also, we get to see Light kind of panic a little bit for the first time when he's back in the confines of his house, talking to Ryuk. He's frustrated and frazzled. He doesn't know what to do, and he's got to figure it out. And he's recognizing all these things that L has put in place, so he can't kind of get away with anything. It's good to see Light shaken, because it's something we haven't gotten enough of in this series, and it keeps him kind of more human. So those are my thoughts on these episodes of Death Note, Claire, and Encounter. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey, from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.